Artificial intelligence, or, AI. It's a term you hear absolutely everywhere these days, and it feels like it's promising to change, well, everything. But what is it really? In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and demystify AI. We're going to look right under the hood to understand not just how it works, but how it's already shaking up our world, from our jobs to our daily lives. So, our whole journey really starts with this one question, a question posed way back in 1950 by the brilliant computer scientist Alan Turing. He asked, "Can a machine think?" It sounds so simple, right? But that one question has been the spark behind decades of innovation. And honestly, it's the big question we're still exploring today. For the longest time, the whole idea of a thinking machine was just science fiction, something you'd read about in a book or see in a movie. It was this fascinating, far-off idea, but it always felt like it was just beyond our grasp. Well, that has all changed. AI has literally jumped off the page and into our everyday lives. It's the engine that suggests what movie you should watch next. It's the GPS app that gets you through traffic. It's even the tool that's helping doctors make life-saving diagnoses. It's not science fiction anymore. It's here. Okay, so to really get a handle on AI, I want you to think of it like one of those Russian nesting dolls. We're going to start with the biggest, outermost doll. That's the whole concept of AI itself. And then we're going to open it up layer by layer and see what's inside. So let's start with that big outer doll. What are we even talking about? A good way to think about it comes from IBM. They define AI as technology that lets machines copy human intelligence. And we're not just talking about doing math really fast. We're talking about the ability to learn, to figure things out, and to actually make decisions. This is the big idea. Now, let's break that down. See, AI isn't just one single thing. It's really a spectrum. At a high level, we can actually split it into 3 different types, and this really helps us understand where we are right now and where all of this might be going. First up, we have artificial narrow intelligence, or ANI. Sometimes people call it weak AI. And here's the key. This is the only kind of AI we actually have today. Think about your Alexa or Siri, your spam filter, that recommendation list on Netflix. These things are amazing at their one specific job, but that's it. They can't step outside that one narrow task. So what's next? Well, that would be artificial general intelligence, or AGI. Now, this is the stuff from the movies, an AI that could understand, learn, and use its knowledge just like a person. We are definitely not there yet, but getting there is kind of the ultimate goal for a lot of AI researchers. And then, way out there, you've got the final theoretical stage, artificial superintelligence, or ASI. This is the idea of an AI that would be smarter than a human in literally every way. It's a wild concept that brings up some huge questions, but for now, it's purely speculative. Okay, so we've seen the big picture. Now let's open that first Russian doll. What's the engine that's making all of today's narrow AI actually work? Well, for the most part, the answer is machine learning. And here's the absolute game changer. With old-school programming, you had to write out a specific set of rules for the computer to follow. But with machine learning, you do the opposite. You just feed it a massive amount of data, and you let it figure out the rules for itself. It's like teaching a kid what a cat is by showing them thousands of pictures of cats, instead of trying to write down a list of cat rules. But machine learning isn't just one thing. There are a few different ways we can teach a machine. First, there's supervised learning. Here, we're like a teacher. We give the AI examples that are already labeled, like a folder of emails clearly marked spam. Then there's unsupervised learning. This time, we just dump a bunch of data on the AI and say, find what's interesting. It then looks for hidden terms, like grouping customers by their shopping habits. And finally, you've got reinforcement learning. This is like training a dog. The AI learns by trial and error. It gets a reward for doing something right and a penalty for doing something wrong until it masters a task, like teaching a robot how to walk. All right, ready to go one layer deeper? Because inside that machine learning doll, there's an even more powerful technique that has really caused this recent explosion in what AI can do. And that's deep learning. Deep learning is a special type of machine learning that uses something called neural networks, which are, believe it or not, loosely inspired by our own brains. Just imagine a network with tons and tons of layers. Each layer looks for more and more complicated patterns in the data, which lets the AI learn things in a way that's way more sophisticated. So how does one of these networks actually see a cat in a photo? Well, the input layer takes in all the raw data, so every pixel in the image. Then the first hidden layer might just spot simple things, like edges and colors. The next layer might combine those edges to see shapes like ears or whiskers. This happens over and over, with each layer getting more complex, until the final output layer puts it all together and makes a decision. Yep, that's a cat. So we've gone through all the theory, but what does this all actually mean out here in the real world? Well, it means we are right in the middle of a massive technological revolution that is completely changing entire industries. And if you want to get a sense of just how big this is, just look at the money. The global AI software market is on track to be worth almost $900 billion by 2029. This isn't some small niche tech anymore. This is a huge pillar of the global economy. And you can bet that businesses are paying attention. Just look at this. A staggering 92% of them are planning to pour more money into AI. That tells you everything you need to know. AI isn't just a cool gadget anymore. It's seen as essential to stay in the game. And the ways it's being used are just incredible. I mean, in healthcare, it's helping doctors create treatment plans tailored to each patient. In banking, it's spotting fraud the second it happens. And in retail, well, it's the reason you get those product recommendations that feel like they're reading your mind. AI is also making the physical world run better. It's the brain behind self-driving features in cars. It's the logistical genius that figures out the fastest delivery routes for companies like FedEx. And it's the tool that keeps factories running by predicting when a machine is about to break down. Okay, so we've seen how AI works and the huge impact it's already having. But as we look ahead, we also have to be realistic and talk about the challenges. This is an incredibly powerful technology, and that means it comes with both amazing opportunities and some pretty serious risks we have to navigate. And this is really the central dilemma of the whole AI revolution, isn't it? On one side, you have these incredible benefits, automating boring tasks, making smarter decisions, and being more efficient. But on the other side, we've got some big hurdles. Things like algorithms accidentally learning our own biases, huge questions about data privacy, and the real impact this will have on jobs. The real trick is going to be maximizing all that good while carefully managing the bad. So all of this kind of brings us to one last big thought. We are literally teaching machines how to think. But maybe the ultimate question isn't just about what they'll be able to do for us. Maybe the real question is, what will they teach us? About intelligence, about ourselves, and about what it really means to be human.